Fukusan.
What?
Fukusan, do you know any sailors?
Sailors? No, I don't.
I see.
Oh yeah! Did you ask Saijo-san? At Yokosuka Bar?
Saijo-san?
Yeah, he knows lots of people.
Thanks.
Hello again, Dreamcast Interest Havers. It's James from GG Dreamcast, and I'm back playing Shenmue. This is part 3 of our playthrough, and we're looking for, as you saw just there from Fukusan, we're looking for sailors. We're going to cover a lot of ground in this episode, actually, because I'm editing these...
I suppose this could be food for that
This
kitten.
could be food for that kitten. I'm editing these playthroughs now so that we see more of the story and the action of Shenmue without watching so much of the walking from place to place and running from place to place.
Ine-san.
Ryo-san, also, do make more of an effort to return home as early as possible.
I will try my best. See you later, Ine-san.
Yes.
Yes. See you later, Ine-san. So as you see, Ine-san's a little worried about us, as always. She wants us to get home early, not do anything stupid. We're going to circle back to that by the end of this episode, and you'll see some real concern from Ine. But anyway, as I was saying, and as you're seeing here, I've edited the clips so that we are cutting from destination to destination a little bit quicker in this playthrough. You can see I'm cutting out all the loading screens, or most of the loading screens. And we're going to, in this way, sort of experience Shenmue a little bit quicker than I guess I experienced it when I was playing through it. As you see, I get a little distracted right off the bat here. I'm going to get some Gashapon figures again. We've already done this in earlier episodes of this playthrough. And you're seeing here we're getting the Sonic the Hedgehog capsule toys. And this one is, of course, Eggman, as it says there. You may know him as Dr. Robotnik. Depends how old you are and where you come from.
Another. Changed my mind.
So I'm in Sakaguroka Park here. You see I'm going to talk to Yamagishi-san. And as Fukusan mentioned, and as our notebook said in the opening of this chapter, we're looking for sailors.
Let me think. They used to gather in the dance hall years back, but I believe that was torn down quite some time ago.
Yeah?
Yeah. So as you see, Yamagishi doesn't really have any information for us during this phase of our clue gathering. And just to recap quickly, Ryo Hazuki's father was killed by a mysterious man in Chinese clothing. Men in black suits accompanied him, and they sped out of town in a black car, causing general commotion with the townspeople, killing a cat as well as Ryo's dad, and orphaning not only Ryo, but a little kitten as well. And we're going to deal with the kitten in this episode as well. Here, I was looking for sailors, but I get a little distracted, as happens frequently in Shenmue, by the arcade, U Arcade. And we've been in here in earlier episodes, but in this one we're going to play the darts game. There's a bunch of mini games that you can play in the arcade, and today we're playing darts. And I'm going to show you what happens when you set a really high score in one of these games. A little reward in-game, so let's see how I can do.
All right.
Now this minigame is very similar to what we find in more recent Sega games like Yakuza, Yakuza 3, 4, 5, all the Yakuza games, and Judgment, most recently Lost Judgment, which just came out. And as you know, you probably know, those games were developed by Ryuga Gotoku Studios, part of Sega, which was headed by Toshihiro Nagoshi up until a couple weeks ago when he departed. And you may not know this, but Toshihiro Nagoshi actually worked as an assistant director on Shenmue, working just under Yu Suzuki. So you're seeing that sort of
Wow, man,
lineage
you're
carry
pretty
through
good.
from
You
Shenmue
won
to
a
Yakuza
prize.
to Judgment,
Here you
all the
go.
way up to the present day from 20 years ago when Shenmue first released.
Thanks.
As you see, I win a tiny little darts trophy. I don't know if it's a trophy. Tiny little darts figure, almost. Sort of a model of the actual arcade cabinet or the game cabinet that you see in the arcade. So that's just a little thing that you can collect. You can collect them for the QTE battle minigame that we played earlier. I don't think you can collect it for Hang On. I could be wrong about that. Maybe if you complete the game, which is actually pretty difficult in Shenmue because the controls are a little bit finicky on Hang On in Shenmue. I can beat it with my eyes closed on the Genesis or the Mega Drive, depending where you come from, but really tough for me in Shenmue.
Excuse me.
Try again when you get a bit older. Bye.
Sorry, Rio. Let's talk at the bar.
Okay.
Bye, Rio.
Goodbye. Excuse me.
Oh, hey, Rio. I can't serve you alcohol, but have a seat.
Thanks.
How about a cola?
Sure.
I'll take a cola, sure. That one looks delicious. Delicious Jet Cola. So you're gonna see this bartender's our pal. He's a little bit friendly with us. Pretty soon you're gonna see a bartender who's
So,
not quite so
what's
friendly
up?
with us.
Saijo-san, do you know any places where sailors like to hang out around here?
You say sailors, but you don't mean just any sailor, do you?
Right.
Try the MJQ Jazz Bar or Heartbeats Bar.
Is that where they go?
But you best be careful. I hear they run with a dangerous crowd.
Any guys with tattoos on their arms?
You'll probably find guys like that there.
That's alright. Excuse me.
Huh?
Do you know of any places where sailors are likely to hang out?
Don't know. Don't care.
I see.
Somewhat rude. Now I like this little bar. I like the music in here. I like the vibe. It's got a good vibe. There's some nice lighting. I like that they just have a static image of a jet ski on the television.
You're still a minor. Ine-san's worried, you know.
Alright.
Yeah, see, it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody. Alright, so we've been told to go to MJQ Jazz Bar or Heartbeats to look for not just any sailor. You know the kind of sailor we're looking for. Now before we go to Heartbeats, I see this slot house. I think I'm going to go inside and see what the slot house is all about. Now again, like games that would come later by Sega and others, there's a lot of distractions that you can engage in, a lot of mini games, a lot of pointless diversions. And this is certainly one of them. And for me, this slot house is more pointless than many of the diversions in this game and other games because I don't really totally understand how this game works. I mean, I understand you line up the sevens or the other icons, I guess, and you win prizes, but it seems really
20
difficult
tokens
to
for
win.
100 yen.
And I don't know, not worth it, I guess. Not worth the
I'll
time.
play it
and effort.
once.
But
How
one
many
one
will I
quick
use?
note that I will mention: if you go to the fortune teller, which I did earlier in this playthrough in an earlier episode, and you ask for your fortune, she'll give you a lucky number. And if she gives you a lucky number, the lucky number corresponds to the slot machine in this slot house. So she gave me the number 6, so I've gone to this number 6 slot machine, and you know, I guess hypothetically it's easier to win. So I do end up winning a little bit here, but again, yeah, I just quit pretty quick because I'm not an expert at that game, and I've never done well at it. So
I'd better quit now.
I'm out of here.
Excuse
This is
me,
the
sir.
last time I'll be in the slot house for the
Yes.
entire playthrough of
I can hold
Shenmue.
your leftover coins for you.
This guy's gonna hold my coins. I'm
Would you
never
please?
gonna get them back, so it's just a big waste of money. But that's life.
Thank
I
you very
guess.
much.
I guess when you're getting 500 yen every morning, you tend to spend it. So we've left the slot house, and now we're going to Heartbeats Bar. You see that graffiti on the wall says Berkeley. I mentioned this in an earlier episode. That's because Project Berkeley was the code name for Shenmue in early development. These guys are just punks.
Get out of my way.
What? Go home! Oh, hey, you!
You see, Ryo makes pretty quick work of them. He's a trained martial artist, and those guys were just chumps, waiting to get thrown in the trash where they belong. Great music in Heartbeats. Here we're gonna ask about some sailors and see if we can get some answers.
Welcome. Here you go! Milk's perfect for a schoolboy, I'd say.
Are those guys sailors?
Maybe.
I'm looking for sailors who work with Chinese ships.
What are you, some kind of TV detective or something?
Back off.
You little punk. You looking for some of this?
You stupid!
That's enough. You put on quite a show, boy.
I'm looking for info about a Chinese cartel.
I'll tell you.
What?
In return, you don't show your face here again.
Okay.
Look for a guy named Charlie.
Charlie.
He deals in smuggled goods. He's well known in the underworld. He should know about the Chinese cartel.
Where is he?
He loves his hog. Try asking at the motorcycle shop nearby.
What's he look like?
He always wears shades and a black leather jacket. And he's got a tattoo on his arm.
A tattoo on his arm?
Enough talk. Now get out!
Tattoo on the arm, that's a big clue. If you remember in the earlier episode, Lan Di has a tattoo on his arm as well. So Ryo's connecting the dots. He's thinking, oh, he's on the trail. He's on the right path. If he can just find this Charlie. And that's what our notebook's going to say. Heard Charlie's a biker. I should visit Knocking Motorcycle Shop for information. Where is Charlie? Now, conveniently, Knocking Motorcycle Shop is literally right at the entrance to Heartbeats. And that was the owner. Actually, I cut away from that, but that's the owner, and I needed to talk to him. And the prompt, the A button to talk to him, showed up on the screen for like a microsecond before it disappeared and he entered his shop and closed up for the night. So, as you know from if you've watched earlier episodes or if you're familiar with Shenmue, all of the NPCs sort of live their own lives and go about their own business, and if you don't go to where they are when they're wherever they're going to be during the scheduled day, then you don't get to see them, you don't meet them, you don't talk to them. So stuff doesn't typically happen just automatically. You've got to find the people at the right time, talk to them, and progress the story in that way. So here we got to just go home, go to bed, and hopefully visit Knocking Motorcycle Shop in the morning. All right, we got a good night's sleep and we're ready to get back to it. Got to track down this Charlie person.
Thank you, Ine-san.
We got a nice sunny day, which is kind of rare in this playthrough, actually. The weather in Shenmue changes all the time, and you never know what you're going to get. And during this playthrough, a lot of the days were kind of dreary and overcast and raining. I got a lot of rainy days.
There. Good
It's
kitty.
nice when we get a sunny day and see some blue skies and some nice fluffy clouds.
Tatsuya,
Do?
do you know anybody named Charlie?
No, I don't.
Have you ever seen a guy wearing a black leather jacket?
Leather jacket? Like yours?
Yeah,
Nope. I haven't.
I see.
So I knew that that kid wasn't going to give us any information. I just thought it was kind of funny to have Rio ask a little kid if he's seen this guy Charlie, who's like kind of a punk and, you know, not a great guy. So
you think you are?
That's Nozomi's voice.
here we go. We got to deal with these two jerks again.
Well, aren't we brave? You must not know who we are, eh?
I don't care who you think you are. You can't threaten little kids.
So you think you're pretty tough, eh?
This little brat just hit my pal in the face with that toy!
So we's gonna teach him a lesson.
Can't you just leave him alone? He's just a kid.
Hey, you're kinda cute, babe. Wouldn't you like to party with us?
Get away from
Don't
me.
fight it, babe. We'll be gentle.
Don't you dare lay a finger on me.
This'll be fun.
Nozomi!
Rio!
What? Are you looking for a fight?
I believe I already kicked you in the head.
Time.
Were you?
So we're gonna fight these two idiots. I think, just so you're, you know, 100% sure that they're bad guys, they went from beating up or trying to beat up a little kid to making unwanted advances on Nozomi, and then eventually settling on, I'm just gonna punch Nozomi. So there's no real gray area here. These two idiots are clearly just punks that need to get beaten up by Rio. And if you remember in my earlier episode, he's already kicked this guy, Inoki, in the head and told him to leave him alone and, you know, never bother me again, that kind of thing. But as you see, he's still bothering people, and he's gonna bother Rio again later. You can be sure of that.
Both of you, stay away from her, understood?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Rio.
Thanks, Theo.
Nozomi, you've got to be more careful.
They were going to hurt him.
I know, but you can't reason with those guys.
But... okay.
Alright, so Rio was doing what Rio does. He saved Nozomi again from an unpleasant situation. And now we're walking into another sort of choose your destiny moment here.
How's it going?
What's wrong?
I'm so thirsty. I want a drink, but I don't have any change.
So as you see, we can buy him a
you
drink
want?
or
What do you
not
want?
buy him a drink. And
You're really nice.
that decision
Thanks.
comes back in later
What
on in the
kind of
game.
drink do
What
you
decision you make kind of
recommend?
influences what happens later in the game. It's not in a big way, but it's a little way, and,
Let's
and
see.
that's what open world games and Shenmue do. So what do you think he wants? Jet Cola, Jet Soda, Fruta, Grape, Fruta Orange, or coffee? I think we go with regular old cola, right? Yeah. Love that Bell Woods Jet Cola.
Here.
Thanks a lot. You've made my day.
Oh, that's so nice. I think we we get to
Is the
see a
restaurant busy?
rare Rio
Ah,
smile.
A little. You should come by again and try Tao-san's special.
Yes.
Yeah, there
Please
you
give
go.
my
See?
regards to Tao-san.
A nice Rio smile. You don't see that often.
Sure thing. I'll say hi for you. Okay, I've got to go. Got things to do.
Okay, see you.
Thanks again.
Some more Shenmue trivia. Another Rio smiles coming up. Ready? It's gonna... Little smile, tiny smile, little smirk. A little more Shenmue trivia. That guy, or at least his character model, appears in Shenmue 2. Even though Shenmue 2 takes place in Hong Kong, we run into someone that looks identical to him. And
Ono-san,
it ends up being that guy's twin brother.
do you know a guy named Charlie?
Charlie?
You know him?
He's such a poser. Thinks riding a hog makes him look cool, but it don't. He ain't a real biker.
Do you know where he lives?
No idea. He only stops by sometimes. Oh yeah, go to Tsuruoka's place.
You mean Tsuruoka-san at the jacket shop?
I heard Charlie goes there sometimes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we just talked to Ono-san, the owner of Knocking Motorcycle Shop, and he told us to go talk to Tsuruoka-san, the owner of the jacket shop.
Kurita-san,
Yo, how are ya?
do you know a man named Charlie?
Huh? Charlie?
Wears a black leather jacket, sunglasses, and has a tattoo on his arm.
I see that guy out in front of the shop sometimes. Always ragging my merchandise, like he'd ever buy anything.
When does this Charlie come around?
This
He
Charlie.
usually heads over this way after hitting the jacket shop. You know, man, guys like that almost always look around without buying anything.
I see.
So as you see, different people will tell us different variations of the same thing. You know, go to the
Itoi-san.
jacket shop, go
Yes.
to here, go to there.
Do you know a man named Charlie?
Charlie? I know Charlie Chaplin, but he's no longer with us.
Yep,
I
that's
assume
not
you
it,
mean
man.
someone local?
Yes, someone alive and from around here.
Someone
He
alive.
has a tattoo.
I have no idea.
I see.
Here we go. It's the jacket shop, Jupiter's Jackets.
Excuse me.
Hey,
I'm looking for a guy named Charlie.
Charlie? What's he like?
He always wears a black leather jacket and sunglasses. Has a tattoo on his arm.
Ah,
You know him?
there's this guy who's always whining about our jackets. Like he knows what he's talking about. Always showing off his tattoo.
I see.
How would he whine about the jackets? How do you whine about a jacket?
About that guy with the tattoo?
Yeah, he came by 4 or 5 days ago. Ugly as the worst sin. Always showing off his tattoo. What a loser.
Jeez,
know where
everyone's
I can
super
find him?
judgmental of Charlie.
Nah, I wouldn't know and don't care. Sorry, I can't be of more help.
I see.
Okay. So the jacket shop's kind of a bust. We don't really get any information there. So at this point I decide, let's try the fortune teller.
Welcome to Lapis. I've been expecting you.
She can sometimes give us clues. If you're stuck in the game and you really don't know where to go, you go to the fortune teller, you pay a little money,
You
and you get a
seem
clue,
troubled.
and
I
they
am.
usually pop it in your
Shall
notebook, and
I
it tells
read
you where
your
you need to go or who you need to
fortune,
talk to.
It's 300 yen per reading.
Yes, please.
Well, what type of reading would you like?
Please tell me a clue.
Very well. Aha, I can see it now. A person seeks you on the road at night.
I see.
Shall I do another reading for you?
No, thank you.
Well then, please come again when you seek guidance.
I will. Goodbye.
Okay, so you see we got a clue, and it's in our notebook now. Clue, the one you seek, can be found on the streets at night. Now, I'm not totally satisfied with that clue, so I'm just going to keep walking around a little bit and ask some more people if they know anyone named Charlie. And hopefully somebody can point me in the right direction.
Sawano-san,
Hello.
I'm looking for someone. Do you know a man named Charlie?
Charlie? Is that a foreign name? What does he look like?
He wears a black leather jacket and sunglasses. He also has a tattoo on his arm.
He's not Yakuza, is he?
Yakuza, I know that game.
Well, I've only heard rumors about it, but there's apparently an office where people like that are seen.
Oh.
It's called Nagai Industries.
Nagai Industries,
Nagai
okay.
Industries.
So that's a good clue.
Sawano-san, do you know where this Nagai Industries is?
I'm pretty sure it was just past the thrift store.
You mean the water dragon?
Yeah, but Joe, you really aren't going there, are you?
Yeah.
Well, now, you be extra careful. Don't get yourself into trouble.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay, we got another clue here. Gotta go find Nagai Industries and ask them about Charlie. And good thing I know exactly where that is. Just past Water Dragon. Nagai Industries has an interesting little song here. It's very... I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't really fit with any of the other Shenmue songs in my opinion. Maybe some of the bar songs, but...
I want to ask you something.
Huh? Shut the hell up. Who in the hell are you, huh? You don't shut the hell up, I'll make you wish you had.
It's a friendly
Asking
guy.
This guy's pointless.
Yeah, it is. It's pointless.
Sorry,
Just
it's okay.
Just throw him down the stairs and enter. Look at these guys just relaxing. They're definitely Yakuza type.
Excuse me.
Look at that.
Hold it. He's just a kid.
Sorry.
Oh, that guy was
Can I
ready
ask
to
you
go,
something?
just ready to attack.
Can you tell me about a man named Charlie?
Charlie?
He always wears a leather jacket and sunglasses.
You mean that badass dude with a tattoo on his arm?
That's him.
I've seen him around at night.
Really?
For details, go ask Toshiki over there.
Got it.
Okay, not the best writing, not the best voice acting in this little trio of Yakuza in here, but
Got a minute?
Hey, what's up?
it's a pretty natural way to look at
I
someone.
want to ask you about that guy
Rio's
Charlie.
looking pretty intense.
Oh, that lowlife. That guy walks around Dorit at night like he owns the place.
Where?
You know the military surplus shop, right? And the Yokosuka jacket shop? I hear he's a real pain down there.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
they said that too. As you see, a lot of people are just telling us the same thing, which is that Charlie hangs around at night in this certain area of Dobuita. And it's not nighttime, so we're going to try to kill some time. I think going to head down to the arcade. This is a good moment to play some arcade games. And we'll show you the, I guess many people would call it emulation, but I don't think it was emulated. I think I read in an article a long time ago that
One
development
game,
of these
100
games
yen.
within the games took massive resources and lots of people and consumed a lot
I'll
of
try
money
it.
and was a big problem for the team. We tried some Hang On right now. This won't be the last time we play it in this playthrough. This is just a great classic motorcycle game designed by Yu Suzuki, the same guy that directed Shenmue and head of Sega's AM2. You'd know him as the director of... You see, I'm doing pretty bad. I do pretty bad in this playthrough. In a later playthrough, we do a little bit better, but... Yeah, Yu Suzuki directed Virtua Fighter, Virtua Racer, or Virtua Racing. Super Hang-On, Outrun, I mean just Space Harrier, lots of classic Sega arcade games that were ported to various Sega consoles over the year. And of course this is one of them, and this game, I have a personal history with this game. I played it quite a bit back when it first came out, my grandfather had a Sega Genesis in his house for some extended family that lived with him at the time. Some little kids lived with him, and he had some video games, and one of them was Super Hang-On, and when we went to visit him, which only happened a couple of times because he lived far away from us, I obsessed over this game. I just played Super Hang-On on the Sega Genesis for hours and hours and hours while hanging around with my family, and my grandfather had a motorcycle as well, so later on in the trip, it was just sort of a very motorcycle-heavy trip. You know, we went out for a ride and went to get breakfast, and he took me on the bike, and it was great. Really good memory of this game and motorcycling in general, and possibly has led to me now, I've been riding motorcycles myself for 20 years or so, so it's interesting the things you remember. But having this game within Shenmue to play, sort of as I was playing Shenmue or whenever I felt like it, was great. It was just a great sort of diversion, and anytime I was playing Shenmue and I just wanted to chill out and not focus on the main story, it was always great to just hop into the arcade and play Super Hang-On. So as you see in that playthrough, I didn't do very well. I did pretty terrible, in fact. But that was my first time playing it in this playthrough of Shenmue, and there's a little bit of a learning curve. So the controls are a little different than they are in the Genesis version. So I get better over time. Okay, so as you see, that was pretty effective at killing some time. It's now evening here in Debuita, and we know that Charlie comes out at night, like a vampire. So we're gonna just roll around and see if we can get some more information on Charlie, or maybe even run into Charlie.
Yo, pal! What's up?
Hey, I know you.
Nah, let me apologize for before.
What?
You know, you're a good fighter. I was impressed.
So? I'm looking for a guy named Charlie.
Charlie? Yeah, he's a friend of mine.
Really?
Yeah, you don't trust people, do ya? Come on, I'll take you to meet him.
I mean, I, for one, find nothing suspicious in this.
We got ya! Come on, tough guy! Show us what you got!
Okay, now we get to experience one of Shenmue's free battles. These don't come along super often, but they're a great mechanic within Shenmue, and the whole system is sort of built around Virtua Fighter's fighting style, or fighting system. And again, that ties back to what we were just talking about with Yu Suzuki as the director of Virtua Fighter. He incorporated the system into this game, and I think Shenmue veterans will know this, but if you're new to Shenmue, you may not know this. Shenmue actually started out as a Virtua Fighter RPG. So it was sort of Akira's story, and it evolved over time through development on the Sega Saturn into Shenmue, a different story that, as you can see, still retains some elements of Virtua Fighter.
So, do you know Charlie?
I don't know any Charlie.
Where'd you get the tattoo?
Okinawa. I'm not lying, but there's a tattoo parlor in Yokosuka too. A friend told me about it.
Where's the tattoo parlor?
I don't know. You've got to believe me.
Okay, so we haven't found Charlie. We found some other people with tattoos, and they said that there's a tattoo parlor in Yokosuka. And so it kind of tracks, I guess, that if Charlie has a tattoo, he might hang around where they're giving tattoos. So now Rio's looking for a tattoo parlor in this town. I get a little distracted here. I want to go into the Tomato Convenience. I love this song. I put it in my Shenmue ambience video. I'll put a link to that in the description below if you want to just chill out and relax with some Shenmue music and sound effect. It's a great way to fall asleep or relax while you're studying or working or whatever it might be. So Kondo-san in Tomato Convenience doesn't know anything about tattoos, so that's a bummer, but we're going to keep looking, and in the meantime, maybe we'll do some shopping.
Hey,
so
man.
these are the cassettes that you can buy to listen to in your Sega cassette tape player that you have in your inventory. And buying one of those gets you a chance to draw a ticket in the raffle and potentially win a prize. Some of these prizes are great. You have Sega Saturn games that you can play in Ryozuki's house. There's a lot of Gashapon toys, which is what I win here. There are some Gashapon toys that you can't get from machines. And there's a tape player that sort of like a boombox that sits in Ryozuki's bedroom once you win it. If you win it, it's very tough to win. Very bad odds on that. So let's just buy as many of these cassettes as we can, because I like to collect these things for some reason. And we're going to go through a bunch of cassettes and a bunch of chances to win and see if we can win anything good. Unfortunately, this time we just win a couple of Gashapon toys, and that's it. Okay, so we're still looking for a tattoo parlor. We're going to just go around Debuita and ask around, see if anybody knows where we can get a tattoo.
Do you know where a tattoo parlor is?
A tattoo parlor?
Oh, she's scandalized.
I don't know of any.
No, only Yakuza have tattoos. That's Nozomi's grandmother. Runs the flower shop and takes care of Nozomi in Japan. Nozomi's parents are in Canada, so she's living with her grandmother at the moment. So it's getting pretty late. I'm heading home, and I can just hit the hay for today. Get back to it tomorrow, but in the meantime, I'm going to stop, buy some more Gashapon. Why not? Let's keep our collection growing.
This is cool.
And we get tails. Yeah, that's a good one.
Maybe I should get another.
Maybe I should get 700 more.
This is cool.
We got Fang. The, is it a coyote? Wolf? I'm sorry, Sonic people. I'm forgetting. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
This is cool.
I know who that is. That's Knuckles. Knuckles the hedgehog. Knuckles the cat. Sorry, he's a cat. My bad. Oh, Sonic, I meant. Damn.
I should try again. Nah, not today.
Nah, let's get out of here. And I can't run by here without stopping to take a look at my friend, the cat.
It's getting really late.
But Rio reminds me it's getting pretty late, and I gotta get home because Ine-san is gonna freak out if I'm not in bed by 11. What an alarm clock, huh? Alright, it's another day and we're still looking for the tattoo parlor location. I think we get to the bottom of this one pretty quickly. Pick up our allowance and
I have
let's
to be
hit
sure
the
not to
streets
waste
here.
this.
As I said, I can't run by without stopping and seeing my little pal, the kitten. Did we name him? I think we named him already. I think we named him Chibi. And Megumi, the little girl who's taking care of him, nursing Chibi back to health. Chibi might be a girl, I'm not sure.
There. Good kitty. Are you cold? Hey.
But I did
see
grab
you
that
soon.
milk in the fridge, if you remember, so we're gonna give that to the cat and let him slurp that up.
Here's your milk. Drink up. I think she likes the milk.
It must
Oh, it's a
taste
girl,
good.
yeah, she likes that
I'll
milk.
bring more again soon.
Great. Thank you, dear.
Beautiful. Love taking care of that cat. So, taking care of the cat, I said this in earlier episodes, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself if you've watched the other episodes, but taking care of the cat completes the cat sort of story arc where it comes back to health over time, but it also launches you into other events, story arcs, and things that you would otherwise miss if you don't take care of the cat, such as some, sort of nice touching moments with Nozomi and some touching moments with Megumi, the little girl who's taking care of the cat. And of course the story arc of the cat itself, which resolves eventually by the end of the game. So doing these things is not critical, but doing them is worthwhile, I
should
guess,
try
if you're
again.
interested in the sort of
This is
interpersonal
cool.
relationships that pepper this game and the sort of realism that I've talked about surrounding Shenmue. It's important if you're into that stuff. So as you see, I stop at the Gashapon machine to just buy some more Sega toys. This is the Sega series, a bunch of characters from other
I know
games.
this.
As you see, this is Knights, the Sega Saturn game, made by Yuji Naka and Sonic Team. Great game. The reboots weren't quite as great. But we do always wish that Knights would come back in some capacity. I think you can get the remaster on Steam, which is nice. It's a very good version of Knights.
Maybe I should get another.
We're going to
Change
finally
my mind.
quit. Change my mind. We're not going to get any more Gashapon for now. But don't worry, we fill out that collection pretty well during this full playthrough. Okay, so we're going to pop back into the arcade. A lot of stuff seems to happen in the arcade. And we're going to ask around to see if anybody in here knows where the tattoo parlor might be.
Excuse me.
What?
I'm looking for a place. Do you know of any tattoo parlors?
Tattoo parlor? Nah, don't know any place like that. But a customer with a tattoo is right over there. He probably knows where it is. Why don't you ask him?
I will.
What you...
I'd like to ask you about your tattoo.
You interested in tattoos?
Yeah.
This tattoo's our gang symbol.
Where'd you get it?
At the best tattoo artist around.
Where's that tattoo parlor?
By the look of those arms, I'll tell you what you want.
Alright.
If you mean it, go get the tattoo. The shop's in Okayama Heights. I trust you can find it yourself.
Okay, so that guy with the Squaresoft's The Bouncer necklace told us to go to Okayama Heights. That's where you can get a tattoo, and he says, he'll tell you all about that if you join his gang. That's the only way he gives you that information. If you decline to join the gang, they call you a loser and tell you to get the heck out and all that stuff, so... Typical Shenmue NPC villains telling you to buzz off. But here we are, we're distracted again by the beautiful sound of the Tomato Convenience Mart, and we're looking at the flashlight here. You can buy this, or you don't have to buy it. I don't buy it because I know that there's a flashlight in Ryo's house, just under the telephone. And you do use the flashlight later on in the game, in a area underneath the dojo. We won't spoil that too much, but there is an underground section of Ryo's house. And we use the flashlight in there. You can also use candles. You can use a light bulb. If you buy a light bulb in this convenience store, you can use a light bulb instead of the flashlight or candles. But you'll see that later in a later episode of this playthrough.
Thanks, man.
Just buying some batteries. The batteries power the flashlight. We're going to need those at some point. And you can never have enough potato chips with Shenhua on them.
Hey, man.
Because these give you a chance to win the prize. And I think I left this one in. We've already seen this raffle process earlier in this episode, but I left this one in because something pretty important and special happens here.
I won.
That's a number one.
Whoa.
The top prize. He sounds
Take
so
your
excited.
Pick, man.
So you get the top prize, and you get to pick red, black, or silver cassette player. I picked the red one for some reason.
Okay, this one. We'll arrange for the stereo to be sent to your house.
There it is. Look at that. Oof, it's beautiful. Imagine owning that. Imagine. Can you imagine? Alright, let's get back to business here. That cassette player will be in our bedroom the next time we go there, which is great. But let's get back on task. We've got a lead as to where the tattoo parlor is, and we're heading there now, the Okayama Heights apartment complex, and this is it. Let's go see if we can find Charlie.
Give me something tough, so no one will mess with me.
Yeah, like that schoolboy.
Shut up! He kicked your butt too, that schoolboy. Huh?
It's him! I'm out of here!
Have you come for a tattoo?
I'm looking for a guy named Charlie.
He's over there. He's sleeping. Wouldn't wake him, unless you want to get hurt.
What the?
The wrong one.
What do you want?
I want to know about the cartel.
I don't know. Why do you want to know?
That's none of your business. Just tell me.
Okay, let me go. I'll tell you. I'll arrange for you to meet some of them, okay? You didn't need to rip my arm off.
Okay, so when?
Tomorrow at 3. Wait at the arcade.
I have your word?
Yeah.
You know what I'll do if you don't show.
Rip your arm off. Okay, so after a lot of searching, we have found Charlie, and we've coerced him into giving us some information on the Chinese cartel.
Hi, Ryo.
Nozomi, what are you doing here?
Class just got out,
You shouldn't be around here.
but I was looking for you.
Oh?
My friend said she saw you down here.
But why?
Today we had our college orientation, but you weren't there.
Yeah,
Have you decided where to go?
not yet. But if I go, it'll have karate.
It's about time you started studying for the entrance exams.
Yeah, I know.
I'm worried about you. And with exams...
I'll be fine.
Ryo, I understand what you're going through with your father and all, but...
We can talk about it later.
Promise?
Yeah, it's dangerous here. You should go home.
See you later.
So a nice little scene there showing Nozomi and how she cares about Rio. So I want to touch on something I mentioned in an earlier episode. I think scenes like that happen a lot in Shenmue. Nozomi's concerned about Rio, and all of Rio's friends and acquaintances are concerned about him. Fukusan's worried about him. Ine-san's worried about him. Nozomi's worried about him. Rio's two friends, who we talked to later on in this playthrough, are worried about him. Everybody's worried about Rio. They want him to talk to them, to tell them what he's going through with the death of his father.
What's wrong?
And they just want to help in any way they can. And Rio spends the entire game telling everyone, "Don't worry about it. Go away. Leave me alone. I don't need any help. I'm fine. We can talk about it later," like he just said to Nozomi.
Really nice.
And I just think it's a very subtle but poignant storytelling element. If you remember Rio's father's dying words, which were what? The last things Rio's dad said to Rio was, "Keep friends, those you love, close to you." And instead of doing that, instead of honoring what his father said, he goes through the entire game pushing his friends away, keeping his friends distant. And seeking revenge, which Master Chen, which is his character we'll come into later, talks a little bit about that, and it's another very poignant moment. But I think what Shenmue does effectively is these moments don't sort of beat you over the head with their message. They're not obvious. They're usually one or two brief lines of dialogue that, if you're not thinking about these things, you probably wouldn't even pay attention to them. I'm thinking specifically of the line that Master Chen says later in the game about what he thinks Rio's father would want for Rio. And the moment comes and then it goes. Rio hears what Master Chen has to say. He doesn't respond and he walks away. He's just not interested in hearing that. All he's interested in is keeping people away and seeking revenge.
Father, I promise to avenge you. Ryo-san! Let's spar for a bit, huh? It's been a while. Alright. No holding back, okay? That was a good one. How about this? That's the Fukusan I know. Whoa, whoa!
It's been a while since we practiced together.
I feel much better now.
Have you found something?
I've got a lead on the Chinese cartel.
Are they the same ones who killed Hazuki-sensei?
I don't know yet.
You're not thinking of going after them alone, are you? You go up against those killers?
It's my only option.
I know how you feel, but it's too dangerous. Even Sensei couldn't.
I've made up my mind.
But what if something happens to you? I'd feel responsible.
Don't worry about me.
No. Ryo-san, is that why you started training? Oh, please. I'm begging you, please think it over.
My mind is made up. I must go.
Ryo-san.
Ine-san, you overheard?
Please don't pursue this, Ryo-san.
I have to. Please step aside.
I'm begging you. Respect Hazuki-sensei's will and look after the dojo.
I can't believe my father killed someone.
Ryo-san. Please wait. There's something I must give to you.
A letter? To my father?
This came right after Hazuki-sensei passed away. I had a bad feeling about it, so I felt I should keep it hidden until today.
This letter's in Chinese. But why?
Because I didn't want you to do anything foolish and risk your life. And because I don't want you to upset the spirit of your father. Please, make a promise to me.
Ine-san.
Please, I need you to promise me.
Yes, I promise.
Thank you, Ryo-san.
So poor Ine-san. All she wants is for Ryo to be okay, and Ryo's just basically lying to her. Terrible. Here we are at the start of a new day, December 8th, and the first thing we're going to do is get out of bed and stare at our new boombox. Wow, look at it. It's gorgeous. Wow, we're so lucky. And we can play our tapes in that, actually, which is interesting.
I haven't got time for that now.
Oh, but Ryo's not interested. So we've got a letter written in Chinese that Ine-san gave to us. That's the letter that we saw at the very beginning of the game. If you recall, after Ryo's dad was murdered, the morning after when Ryo first wakes up, Ine-san stops at the mailbox and picks up a letter, and she kind of shuffles away and hides it. So that's the letter to Ryo's dad. But we don't know what it says because we can't read Chinese. So we have to go find somebody who can read Chinese for us and tell us what the letter says.
Ryo-san, what were you talking about with Ine-san?
Well...
Is that a letter? In Chinese? Is it from the man who murdered Sensei?
I don't know.
Damn it! If only we knew someone who reads Chinese!
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is head down to the town and head towards Debuita because we know that there's Chinese people in Debuita from earlier conversations that we've had and earlier fact-finding. We've got the Chinese food store, the barber shop, the old man in the park. There's quite a few Chinese people, and we're hoping one of them can decipher this letter for us.
What's wrong?
A man with sunglasses took my soccer ball. He said he'd give it back if I brought you to him.
What? Where is he?
At the construction site.
You...
I knew you couldn't resist, boy.
What?
Remember the tattoo parlor? Payback time. Here, catch.
Go home.
What? But...
Okay, we have another free battle here. It's a pretty easy one. So we're going to quickly deal with these punks in this free battle. And then right after the free battle, we have a great quick time event. One of my favorites in the game, Death by Soccer Ball.
That's enough.
Huh?
Damn! Don't think you can get away with this.
Are you okay?
谢谢. Thank you.
Shishi. Hey, are you Chinese?
Yes. My name's Xiaogong. What's your name?
Ryo. Ryo Hazuki.
Ryo. Hazuki.
Yeah.
谢谢Ryo-san.
See what our note says? Helped out a Chinese boy named Gao Wen. And then it repeats that the letter is the only lead that we have right now. But that little boy was Chinese, so that's interesting. We're looking for someone who can read Chinese. And that little boy, we run into him right here in Debuita pretty quickly. So he's going to prove instrumental in our quest.
Son?
Oh, what is it?
Excuse me, would you read this letter for me?
Well, show it to me.
Son? What does it say?
This has many characters I don't.
So the first thing I tried to do is ask Liu-san here in the park. We know he's Chinese.
Sorry, but
he can't seem to read the writing because it's an old language or something he doesn't understand. So we run to Maeda Barbershop, which we've gone to in the past, looking for people to help us, Chinese people to help us. And he just sort of points us in the same direction of Liu Barbershop and the Chinese food place and places that we've already gone before.
Excuse me.
When we're looking for Chinese people.
I have something to ask you. Do you have a minute?
Sure thing.
I'm looking for someone who can read Chinese. Do you know anyone?
Ajiichi is the best place to go. It's near the drugstore. You know, Tao-san and his apprentice, Wang-san.
There's that couple at the Chinese restaurant, right? But do you know anyone else?
Someone else?
Maeda-san.
Other than them, maybe the Lius at Liu Barber and Hair Salon.
Is it the place just before Sakuragaoka?
Yep.
Ajiichi Chinese restaurant and Liu Barber and Hair Salon. I see. Thank you.
But here you see we run into the little boy that we just saved. And he's going to give us our best lead yet.
Come on, let's play.
Next time, okay? I'm kind of busy now. By the way, Gowen, you're Chinese, aren't you?
Yup.
I'm looking for somebody who can read a letter written in Chinese.
My grandmother can.
Your grandmother? About your grandmother?
Her name is Sha Sholi. She's real nice.
Where is she?
At the shop.
Shop? Which shop?
She sells dishes and stuff. It's called Roxia.
You mean Loxia China shop, right?
The roof is red.
I'll go see her. Thanks.
Okay, so he tells us to go to Russia China shop, where his grandmother works, and she can hopefully decipher this letter for us.
May I help you?
Excuse me, are you Xiaoseng?
Yes, that's right. And you are?
I'm Ryo Hazuki.
Ah, Hazuki-san? Oh yes, my grandson. Go and told me. Thank you very much.
Hmm?
You helped him at Sakuragaoka.
Oh, I remember.
He was so excited when he told me. He now aspires to grow strong and brave, just like you.
It was nothing, really.
So, what brings you here?
Well, I have a letter I'd like you to translate.
Eh? Reversed kanji?
Reversed?
Yes, but they aren't just reversed left to right. They're written in a special style.
Could you read it for me?
Yes, of course. Beware of those who pursue the mirror. If you ever need help, seek the aid of Master Chen. Zhu Yuan Da.
Zhu Yongda. Master Chen?
Oh, there's something written on the back, too. Tianjifu, Jiao Taolong, Tijimu, Hodayo.
What does it mean?
Father's heaven, 9 dragons, Mother's earth, comrades. I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense.
I understand.
But I think this part may be a phone number. These ancient characters are numbers.
A phone number?
Yes. 0468 61 5647.
0468 615647, right? I've got it. Thank you very much.
Okay, some interesting stuff learned there in the Russia China shop. We've got a phone number. We've got a sort of secret code, we've got a signature, and we've got a phone number. The letter contents: beware of those who seek a mirror. Should you need help, contact Master Chen. And then we've got Master Chen's phone number. So we've got a good lead now. Make a phone call, talk to Master Chen, figure out what's going on with this Chinese letter and what's with these mirrors. Obviously the letter mentioned the mirror. Lan Di murdered Ryo's dad for the mirror, so there's obviously something important about this mirror. We're trying to figure it out and figure out our next steps. But before we do that, it's time to talk to the kid.
are you doing? I bet you remember me, don't you?
And we're gonna give the kitten some tuna that we bought in the store, and this is gonna keep helping this kitten regain her strength and grow healthy again.
She's eating!
She must have been very hungry.
Yeah, and she looks real happy. Thank you, Dio.
Ryo-san!
Yeah, it's me.
What was that letter about?
Apparently this.
Those who pursue the mirror, Chuyonda. So, the letter is connected to Sensei's death.
I'm going to find out.
Will you search for that Master Chen?
That's all I can do.
If you find out, let me know!
I will.
Okay, so Fukusan is obviously very interested in what Ryo's doing and figuring out or finding some sort of answer to why his sensei, Ryo's dad, was murdered. And we're going to just quickly grab some stuff here in the house before we wrap up this episode. This is the flashlight that I mentioned earlier when I was in the when we were in the tomato convenience store buying batteries and things. So we don't need to buy a flashlight, we have one in the house. And as I was playing through this part of the playthrough, I realized that I had forgotten to pick up a couple of optional items in the house, so we're going to go grab those. Nothing critical, but these items are just more sort of world building, I guess. And here's a picture of Ryo and Ine and Fukusan and Ryo's dad, Iwa Hazuki, in the back there. As we're going through the house, that's going to wrap up this episode of our playthrough. We're making good progress, and I hope you enjoy the faster edits so we can get through this game a little bit quicker without sort of wasting your time watching a lot of running from place to place, loading screens. If you've enjoyed this episode, give us a thumbs up, maybe subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss the next episode, and let me know in the comments what you liked about this and what you didn't like, and if you have any experience with Shenmue or fond memories or bad memories. I'd love to hear about your experience with Shenmue and any other Dreamcast game. But thanks for watching, I'll catch you in the next one.